Let's walk through a process for how to share, edit, and save Schoology rubrics. Within Schoology, you have groups, and any group you're a part of has its own resources section. When you are saving resources, you can build and save in a group so that everybody that's a part of that group has access to it, or in your personal resources. And from there, you can copy and move them. Everyone in the district is part of a secondary content sandbox group. And so I have built a template rubric in the secondary fine arts sandbox for the sake of this demo. First, we are going to move a rubric from group resources to our personal resources. So this template is saved in the sandbox. I would click on the gear and select copy to. Then I have the option to choose any other group resources to save to that I am a part of, or I can save it to home, which is my personal resources, and I select copy. Now I can navigate back to my resources, and the default should be home. And when I look at my home at the very bottom, when I scroll down, I see that template there in my personal resources. Next, we are going to move the template rubric from our resources to a course. I could then click the gear again and select Add to Course. From there, a list of the courses that I am an admin will populate, and I can find the course I want to add it to. Once I have found that course, I'm going to click on the box next to the name of that course, and it'll allow me to add. I can now navigate to that course, and once I do, I will see the rubric added not to my materials, but to my grade setup page. I would click on grade setup from the left-hand side menu, and on the right, I have a rubrics and scales column. When I click on the rubrics, all the rubrics in this course populate. I can then click edit from the gear and change this template. I can change text, criteria, or add learning objectives. So here you can see I have that added standard that I can make any other changes. I can delete criteria as needed as well, and then I'm going to click save. Now I've retitled that. It now called Art Project. However, I changed it in the course. Now that we've changed the rubric in the course, we're going to see how that affects the template rubric that is living in your resources. So let's head back to our resources. And we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom where that template resource lives. We're going to see if it changed. Well, it still has the same name, Art Template, rather than Art Project. And as we open it up, we're going to see that none of those changes I made are reflected here. So now you have two different rubrics, a template from which to work and the specific one you created in your course. So as not to lose the work you just did by creating this new, more specific rubric from a template, we're going to look at moving that from your course to your resources. You'll navigate back to the Grade Setup page, you'll click on the gear and choose Save to Resources. You can keep it in your home collection. If you have a folder for rubrics, you could put it in there. I'm just putting it in without a folder. But if you have a lot of rubrics, using folders in your personal resources could be a way to organize that a little bit more for you. So let's go check our rubrics now in our resources. Navigating back to our resources to check out that both rubrics are now living there as well. So I default to home, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and I should see two. I have an art template, which was my original, and my art project. To recap what we just learned, You now know that you can share your rubrics through group resources and receive rubrics from group resources to your personal resources. You know that you don't need to start from scratch when building rubrics, that you can use templates. And that does not mean that you have altered the original. And you know that if you make changes to a template in a course, you're going to want to save that, take that small step to save it to your resources. That way you don't have to dig that altered rubric out of an archived course later on. If you need any support, reach out to your DLC.